y'all, this is Ebony, and how's it going? Like, I haven't been up here in a while, and it feels good to be back. It feels good to do a video. I haven't done one in a while, so here I am. And if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and share. So today's video is kind of going to be a little different. As you guys may know, apart from just owning a cleaning service, I also have Airbnbs that I do, and I'm a life insurance agent. But this particular video, I'm going to discuss with you guys how I got started in the Airbnb industry. A few months ago, you know, I was documenting my process on TikTok. And needless to say, like, some of the videos that I did went viral. I was like, what? Okay. So, and a lot of people like question, like, you know, how did you do this? How did you do that? Also, I share like my process on my IG stories. I just like to document the journey of entrepreneurship whenever I'm starting something new, or I feel like, you know, my process, my journey could help someone. Like, I like to document it and just, you know, broadcast it. Like, you know, I get inspired when I see other entrepreneurs doing that. So, you know, I'm here to be that inspiration, that influence. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys how I got started in the short-term rental industry. Okay, so last year, guys, I did contract COVID. I think I shared this in a previous video. And so I was down, like, you know, I had to be quarantined. I was down in my room most of the time, just browsing the internet. And I was on YouTube, and I came across Noelle Randall. And she was talking about owning Airbnbs without having to own property. And I thought that was, like, very interesting. Prior to that, I was really interested in getting into real estate investing anyway. And I felt like this was one of the easiest routes or easiest ways to get started, was to like get an Airbnb. So needless to say, you know, I started doing some research, and I found this guy on IG, and his name was Kevin Motivated Me. Okay, so he was offering a course where he taught how to obtain Airbnb properties without owning the property and such, and, you know, the whole process. And I took it for $75. That was like that was dirt cheap, you know, for the value that the course brought. That was dirt cheap. You know, that was the best investment I probably could have made. And I think since then he has went up, he has increased, and I do not blame him. It is absolutely worth what he's charging now. And yeah, that's how I got started. I took a course. So that's what I recommend, guys. Instead of, like, you know, reaching out to people, how do you do this? How do you do that? You know, watching YouTube videos of gurus that are doing this, you know, trying to piece together how to do that and the way to do this. Just invest in the course, okay? You're going to get everything you need in the course, the how-to, the do's and the don'ts, you know, very clear instructions, directions. Just invest in the course. It will save you so much time and so much headache and so many mistakes, okay? So yeah, I started there, and I think within like the next 2 or 3 weeks, I think I had acquired my first unit, okay? So that's why I kind of want to share with you guys, like, the process of this, because it's not as easy as it seems. I know that you guys probably see a lot of people on the internet, like, you know, just showcasing their units, making it look like it's a walk in the park. That is a lie, okay? And once you get in and you really understand the business model, it's a breeze, okay? Don't get me wrong. But I think the hardest part of starting an Airbnb is getting your first yes. And what I mean by yes is approval by a complex or a landlord that that's okay with you basically running an Airbnb in their property, okay? So what Kevin taught in the course is he teach you basically how to acquire mostly apartment complexes, and that's what I went after. Okay, so let me share with you my little horror story. And that's why I say, guys, like, follow the rules. That would be my #1 suggestion. That would be my top tip for you guys, is follow the rules. Do this legally, Okay, do not operate illegally, because this is a big investment. Okay, and there's so many people out there running units that are like, they constantly have to look over their shoulder because they're not doing it the right way. Okay, and that's kind of what I did for my first unit, because I was so eager to get in the game. I didn't I wasn't transparent with the apartment complex I acquired a lease under. Okay, so number one, what you want to do, you want to make sure that you obtain a corporate lease. What a corporate lease is you're getting a lease under your company's name. Okay, and you could probably well so get a lease in your name and do this, but I wouldn't suggest that. That is not, the route that I chose to take. I think it's a more professional approach if you create a business just for this and obtain corporate leases under your business name. Okay, that is what Kevin taught us in the course, and that has been like, I think that's the route that most people should take. Okay, so like I said, get your company started, file a EIN, choose the business entity that you want to roll with. I did a LLC. Get that started and then start applying for these apartment complexes or landlords, etc. So, but yeah, getting back to my story, guys, I wasn't really transparent with the complex that I first obtained my first unit with. I was just scared to hear no. Like, to be honest, I was scared to run the business model by them. And that's another thing, guys, that he taught in the course. You don't hear me say that a lot, what he taught us in the course. When I say that it was totally worth it, invest in the course, because a lot of this I would have not known. I would have been lost in the dark. Okay, but he teach you like the mistakes he made. He's teaching you how to avoid his mistakes. Okay, so you have to be upfront with these landlords, with these apartment complexes, what you're doing. You have to let them know, this is an Airbnb unit. I'm going to have guests, constantly flowing in and out, rotating. They may stay from anywhere to 1 to 30 days. I need to know if this is okay for me to do. Basically, that's what you're doing. That's what your initial contact is when you reach out to these complexes and these landlords, okay? Let them know what you're doing. I did not do that, okay? Like I said, I was so eager. I was so excited to get started. I left that part out, okay? But I did obtain the lease under my business, okay? I did do that much, but I kind of hid from them the fact that I was running an Airbnb. And that cost me in the end. So, and that's why you have to make sure that you get the right approval from these complexes, because you're going to have neighbors, and you can't hide it for long if you have nosy neighbors. If you have neighbors that are close by that can see, it's constant traffic going in and out, sooner or later they're going to report it. Okay, and that's what happened to me on my first unit. First unit, first guest. Okay, it was a group of 5 girls. I don't think they were from around here. I think they was just like traveling, and they was just having a full-blown party in my Airbnb, my unit. So that Monday, I think they booked that Friday. They stayed the whole weekend. That Monday, I got a call from the office saying, yeah, your neighbor reported that it was stuff being thrown off the balcony onto their porch. And I'm like, oh God, here we go. And you always hear these stories about Airbnb guests, like throwing parties and, being destructive and things of that nature. And I was like, I just hope this is just a one-time thing. But anyway, but yeah, so that's why I say, guys, be transparent from the very beginning, because if you have guests that are unruly, that's kind of loud, and neighbors hear things, they see things, they smell things, and they're going to tell the complex, they're going to tell the office. So be transparent from the very beginning, okay? And that's why you want to get in an Airbnb community as well, like a complex that will okay your business model. Just because a complex accept corporate leases don't mean that they will accept your business model. What is the business model? Airbnb. Okay. Constant guests rotating in and out, different people in and out. That's basically what it is. And corporate leases, all corporate leases aren't the same. Okay. So that would be my number one suggestion. Number two is leverage business credit. I entered a whole new realm when I learned about business credit. Okay. Business credit is basically you obtaining credit in your business name. It has nothing to do with your personal credit. It doesn't taint your personal credit. Your personal credit isn't checked. It's a whole new world with business credit, okay? And since learning about it, I have obtained credit cards in my business name, gas cards, lines of credit that my social security number is not attached to. Okay. And that is the beauty of it. So many people teach you, so many gurus and so many coaches and mentors teach you to use other people's money. This is how you do it, using credit cards, lines of credit. This is how you furnish your first unit. This is how you pay the rent for your first unit. This is how it's done. Okay. Business credit. So what I would suggest is once you get your company started, of course, you need to apply for a Duns and Bradstreet number, a EIN number, and that will be basically the Duns and Bradstreet number is a social security number for your business. Okay, that's what you would use to apply for credit here or there, credit cards, banks, lines of credit, all of that good stuff. Okay, so once I got approved for lines of credit, I started leveraging that. That's how I obtained my my second unit. Okay. And let me back up too. For my first unit, I just went to a furniture store and obtained credit and used my credit to furnish my first unit. Okay, that's basically what I did. I suggest if you do have money, if you do have personal savings, you can use that money as well. You don't always have to use credit. I know some people are why use credit when I have cash? I'm like that too, because I just hate owing people. I hate having debt attached to my name. But I knew that, this was for business purposes. I knew that it was an investment and I would make my money back pretty quickly. And I did. Okay, so it's all up to you what you want to do for your business. Do you want to use your personal savings to invest in this? That's fine. Do you want to obtain business credit? That's fine. Do you want to use personal credit? That's totally fine. Do what works for you. Okay. Also, guys, I wanted to talk about really defining your niche. I have since migrated from the Airbnb model, and I prefer long-term guests. Okay, so with the Airbnb, they're basically considered short-term guests. So they stay anywhere from maybe 1 to 30 days. And in some states, you really have to be mindful because some states won't allow short-term rentals to go beyond 30 days. Okay, but since I have since migrated from Airbnb to just short-term rentals, I like catering to people that have a 30-day stay or longer. Okay, I just find that with Airbnb, it's a lot more work when you have guests that are staying a shorter time period, they're maybe staying 2 or 3 days, and the next guest come in and stay, a week, or the next guest come in and stay 2 days. Be mindful, guys, that you have to clean these units in between guests. Okay, you have to keep them clean, sanitized, disinfected. You have to do laundry. You have to change the linens, clean the linens, wash, dry, all that stuff. It's a lot if you don't have a lot of time on your hands. And for me, I had the time, but I didn't feel like it. Okay, like I said, I do multiple other things, and me just going back and forth doing that, it was just, it wasn't it wasn't for me. Okay, so that is one thing I suggest. You can hire out a lot of the tasks that running an Airbnb entails, and that's fine. But it will cut into your profit, of course, and that's fine as well. Right now, your business vision and just go from there. So the more that I have done this, the more I realize that, delegating the work out is nothing wrong with that. So currently I have a unit that I found a cleaner on turnbnb.com, and that's the plug right there, guys. So if you're thinking about maybe running a unit that's not in your state, or different city than you're in, I would definitely go there and find a cleaner that's in that area, and they can keep your units up for you. And also another good tool to have is handy.com. It's another app where you can find like maybe a nice handyman to go in when you don't want to, get your landlord involved, or you don't want to call the complex for every little simple thing. Go on Handy and you can find like maintenance guys to go in and, change locks or change light bulbs and do things of that nature. Okay. But yeah, getting back, really, I know I'm all over the place, guys. This video is so impromptu, but I just felt the need to kind of share my journey. But yeah, define your niche. So I like to cater to travel nurses now. I love travel nurses. Okay. With my first travel nurse, she acquired the unit back in May, and she just moved out. And from May until now, I didn't hear a peep from her. Okay, passive income. I constantly get the rent every month. Like clockwork. Actually, she came through an agency. The agency found my unit and was like, "Hey, we have a nurse that is in need of housing while she's in the area on contract, and can we use your unit?" And I was like, yeah. So the agency actually paid the rent every month. I had my check in the mail before the first every month. And like I said, I didn't hear a peep from her. Like I didn't even get a call. Like like maybe if something was broke down, I didn't get a call. Like it's the easiest like passive stream to have. And even if I did get a call from her, all I had to do was call the complex and be like, "Hey, can you go check this out? Send the maintenance crew and check this out." And like I said, by this time, I was very transparent with the complex about what I was doing. I didn't have to run this business looking over my shoulder or feeling like I was under the radar. I was very clear about it because I learned my lesson from the first one. Okay. So yeah, really define your niche. Do you want to do travel nurses? Do you want to do business professionals? That's another one that I do. It doesn't always have to be medical related professionals. It can be educators. It can be contractors coming into the area that's looking for somewhere to stay while they complete their work. It could be military families. You could be catering to military families. You can be in a military town and cater to them. It is so many possibilities, guys. That's just really, I want you guys to really define what you want to do with your unit. Also, you don't have to always advertise on Airbnb.com. Do you know how many sites similar to Airbnb.com it is that you can list your properties on? Oh my goodness. It is so many. You have Verbo, you have Booking.com, you have Cozy, you have Trulia, you have Zillow. People use other platforms to find housing other than Airbnb. Okay, so that's just my 2 cents, guys. I'm currently in the middle of obtaining my 3rd unit. I am so excited. Like, this is just, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and this guy says that you can't get passive until you get active. That really stuck with me. A lot of times we're looking for passive ways to bring in money and, streams of income, but we freeze, at the thought of the investment that it's going to take. We freeze at the thought of getting started. We're scared to take that leap. But if you don't get active, you can't get passive. Okay? So that's just something, guys, that I wanted to share with you. I'm in the middle of obtaining my 3rd unit. This will be a 2-bedroom. Like I said, my niche is travel nurses. I love travel nurses. They are the easiest to host because, for number one, they're at work most of the time. And it's just easy. They're at work most of the time. It's just them. I recently had a bad experience with having pets in the unit. And I try to be understanding because I have a dog myself, and I know like they provide so much company. But I did have a travel nurse in one of my units, and she had cats. And when she moved out, like her cats just tore my unit up, and I was like, never again will I do pets. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, pet lovers. Like, I will not do animals in my units again. Luckily, I did find a good contractor that was able to patch up a lot of the, things that the cats did in the unit. Um, Also, like, they just left this urine smell in the carpet. It was a mess. So that is another suggestion, guys. If you're going to accept pets, you really want to have some good boundaries down, some strict rules. You really want to make sure you get a pet deposit. Make sure you're getting deposits for your units as well if the stays are going to be long term. Okay, when I say long term, anytime up until 90 days, make sure you get a deposit. So if anything happens, the deposit will cover like the little fixes like I had to do. Okay, we had to repair the carpet. We had to hire a carpet cleaner to get that stench out. It was a lot, and thankfully her deposit did cover it. Okay, but that's just some of my suggestions, guys. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section and I will be sure to answer. And if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and share. Hope this has been helpful. Talk with you soon.